Kristaps Porzingis talks to reporters about his injury, the timeline, and all of that stuff. You'll hear everything he has to say, plus my reaction right now on a bonus Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster brand, it's holiday season. Drop Drew in the mix. And 3 from KP, no, we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Deuce, still Beantown's finest. Banner 18 going up in the rafters. Watch the C's game in Locked On after. Karalis on the breakdown. Clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic, documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rain and J's, how we started raising business. How we finish. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and I've got you covered every day, Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts on the weekends, either when they play or when something big happens, like Kristaps Porzingis coming out and talking to the media about his injury, giving us a little bit of an update. So I figured, hey, this is a great time to hop on and just share everything that he said. I will play you every little bit of what he said in his media availability, then my reaction. So you have a bonus podcast here on a Saturday. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis. I used to play a long time ago. Now I'm a beat writer covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. Today's show is brought to you by Monopoly Go. We got to talk more about Monopoly Go in this show because it's a fast-paced game that lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go now for free on the Google Play Store or the App Store. Game on. Let's get right to it. Kristaps was at practice. Number one, walking around without any kind of walking boot or anything like that. Just plain old sneakers and socks and just looking like normal. If I didn't know any differently, if I just, parachuted in and looked at him walking around, I would not have known if there was anything going on. Practice was over. Guys were doing some extra shooting. I would have just thought, oh, he's done with his shooting. He's just walking around. He didn't have a limp. None of that stuff. So that's great. Then he comes over, he sits down, and he talks to the media. Here's everything he had to say.
Kristaps, what have you been told about the injury? Do you have a grade and a timeline for when you could return?
Yes. Obviously, after the MRI, you can see what is going on there, and it's an injury, and we're like treating it accordingly, and getting better every day. So in a good mood today and every day, I would say, but of course it sucks to be out and not be able to play with my guys, but doing what I can now to come back as soon as possible.
What have they told you about how severe it is, compared to what you thought it might have been at the beginning?
It's something. It's not nothing, so it will take a little bit of time for sure. I'm doing everything I can to speed it up because I want to be back out there as soon as possible. But understanding that it's the worst thing would be probably to re-aggravate that, So being smart and you would have to ask the medical people about the specifics of it. I'm kind of just following the plan, hoping for a return as soon as I start to get better. So working.
What are you able to do? What are you able to do on the floor right now?
On the floor, I'm not on the floor yet, but very soon I expect to start doing stuff. Still in the weight room, still movement and slowly building up. And I would say each day it's a lot of progress. It's still very fresh, but making progress and feeling good.
Is this something you've dealt with before in the past?
I had similar, earlier in the season. It was against Orlando that game, and I think I missed a week and a bit maybe. But we took it very slow, very cautious. This time around, it's because of the part of the season that we're in. It's going to be much more aggressive, I would say, but being smart. Again, day by day, week by week, and just seeing how I progress and hoping for quick recovery.
How would you compare this one to that one, the other injury?
And this one's stronger. Worse, yeah. I didn't want to use that word, but yeah, it's a little bit like, worse for sure. And yeah, it's just going to take a little bit longer probably, but yeah, keeping a positive mindset.
So before it actually happened, it looked like there was a couple plays right before you got hurt. You kind of caught up with that.
Yeah, no. It was actually, I rolled my ankle the play before on offense. I was going for a rebound and I stepped on a hero, rolled my ankle, came back, maybe started to like compensate with the other side a little bit more, too much or something. I don't know. Maybe it just happened. I don't know. And then yeah, as soon as I pushed off, I felt something. I was like, and you saw my reaction on the court, But then once we kind of got the diagnosis, that's how I say it, I calmed down and it's okay. It looks like it's not as bad as I initially thought, So yeah, it is what it is. Of course, nobody wants to get hurt, but at least it's like not as bad as it could have been.
Did you say week to week? Is there a hope? Like, do you have like a target date? Do you like a hope to come back this next series, conference finals?
There's no like specific date. Obviously, it's still pretty early. I think it will be like clearer once I start doing more stuff. Once I start doing more stuff, it will be clearer. But yeah, not super close yet. Obviously, I'm not super close yet, but expecting to recover at a historic rate.
What's this like mentally? Like, you came here so excited for these moments, like kind of building up to this, the great season, and you a chance to kind of give us. What's it like mentally to kind of go back right now?
Tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's tough. First few moments were really tough. I was like it gets you down for a second, but it is what it is. It's part of the sport, and these things happen. And best I can do now is, okay, what's the next thing I have to do to get healthy as soon as possible and follow the plan and make sure I do everything and just getting in that mindset, because I can't change what happened in the game, and that's it. So just looking forward to making quick steps towards being back on the court.
Are you going to be traveling with the team in this upcoming season?
Good question. I think so. I think so. I haven't talked to the medical staff about it yet, but I want to be around the team. I love being around the team even if I'm not playing, and yeah, so I expect to.
What's the treatment like? How are you reacting to it so far, and just what's that process going to be like with recovering?
Yeah, first is just to control the inflammation and start to do some movements and stuff without like stressing it too much, and today I had like a pretty good day. Made some like steps forward, started doing new stuff today again. And tomorrow will be, I guess, off. I'll do some stuff, like recovery stuff, and then Monday I think I will make again like a big jump, because every day it's almost like like a pretty big jump each day. So I expect Monday to be really good, and then go from there.
Just how do you kind of hope to be involved still? Helping Luke, maybe Xavier, throughout the process.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm around the practice all the time, seeing what these guys do at the stations and stuff, and I expect those guys to get more minutes now, and Al's obviously starting, and we already have Al, who's a great presence for us, like 24/7, and now like Luke and X probably getting some time. I think it's going to be good for me to be around, just to see if I can give those guys something and something that I see, and we want to keep going the way we're going, no matter who's in or out. So I expect these guys to step up and play at a high level.
Thank you, KP.
All right. That's everything Kristaps Porzingis had to say. Now, what do I have to say? My reaction to all of this is coming up next. All right, time out here. We got to talk about Monopoly Go. And I know you're saying, hey, whoa, this is a technical foul on you. You've already talked about Monopoly Go, but there is just so much good stuff in this game that we've got to talk about it again, because in Monopoly Go, you can team up with your friends, not just play against your friends. You can team up with your friends. Timed tournaments where you work together, you build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get, like unique stickers that you can trade with your friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces, because Monopoly is all about the playing pieces, right? So you can travel the boards with those. Hilarious emojis for taunting your friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Yeah, you can play against your friends and do that stuff too. Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko game. And there's always new timed events that can help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So go get off the bench and go download it now for free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Today's show is also brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle, level it up to peak performance, like superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, all the great stuff, more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. I had somebody tweet me saying they found what they were looking for and they paid about half the price. That's a great experience that person had. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. With eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. All right. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. I appreciate you being here on this bonus podcast. Go check out Locked On Sports Today, by the way. Streaming 24/7, not screaming 24/7. That's what ESPN does. You don't want that. You want the streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the Amazon Fire TV channels app. So go check that out. Locked On Sports Today. It's all the big stories. It's all the big shows, including this one every once in a while. So Kristaps sat there, big smile on his face. Number one reaction here is good news. I come out of that thinking good news. Confirms the reporting that it's not a playoff ending injury, right? This is not going to, we should, depending on how the Celtics do, we should see Porzingis again. So that's step one. He talked that, he said it's something, not nothing. So it'll take a little bit of time, but it's better than he thought, right? So he has the injury in game 4 against Miami. He's, hobbling. He's very down. And then hearing the updates, it's clear that it's better than he thought it was going to be. So that's the good news. He's not on the floor yet, and that's not surprising. It only just happened a few days ago. But again, the fact that he's out there, no walking boot, no limp, that's good news. All of that stuff is good news. He said each day is a lot of progress, still very fresh, but making progress, and he feels good. That's great. He did say it's worse than the left calf strain that he suffered earlier this season. It was actually technically last year in 2023, November 24th. He came back 2 weeks later. It happened on 24th. He literally came back 2 weeks later. There was a game and he played. Now, there was injury management in between that, but he said that was an overly cautious thing. He said it back at the time. He said it again here in the practice on Saturday. So they were overly cautious. This is worse. So maybe the normal course of action is still 2 weeks. I don't know. They did not set a timeline. Maybe he knows a timeline, but they didn't publicly set a timeline. But you compare the two injuries. That one, a couple, at the beginning of the season was worse. That cost them a couple of weeks with a very conservative timeline. Let's see what an aggressive timeline is. Now, how aggressive? I don't know. We'll see. He said he's hoping for a quick recovery. He said that he's hoping to recover at a historic pace. So I don't know what that means, but hey, he's being optimistic. He's being, I think, his typical KP self, right? Gregarious is a good way to put it. He's a happy dude. So, with no target date, we're just going to have to wait and see. He said Monday is the big jump, right? Every day is a pretty big jump. So I expect Monday to be pretty good and go from there. So we'll see. That means Monday after practice, there will be a practice. There's no practice on Sunday. The next update will come after practice on Monday, where we'll ask Joe Mazzulla flat out, Porzingis said he expected Monday to be pretty good and go from there. We'll ask Mazzulla that. He'll give us a non-answer, and we'll go from there. We'll see. But he's around. He's with the team. He's helping. He's talking to the guys that are going to play, Luke Cornett, Xavier Tillman, all of those guys. Obviously, Al Horford. Not that Al Horford needs any encouragement or help, but this is good. And I think, honestly, there's some debate as to whether this is good for Al Horford or not, because the Celtics we're waiting for game 7 between Cleveland and Orlando. That Orlando won game 6. So game 7 is on Sunday afternoon instead of game 1 of this series being Sunday afternoon. The schedule would have been Sunday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and Saturday in the opposing city. And there was some thought that, hey, you get a few days off, Al feels good. You play a couple of games, you give Al 3 more days off, he gets to recover a little bit. Totally valid line of thinking. I don't mind the 6 days off. You just try to push that health meter as high as possible, and you manage Horford within the game. You try to steal a couple minutes with Luke and see how that goes. Maybe maybe that is if you can, the more minutes you can play those guys, obviously, the more you can keep Al Horford to his regular minutes. But he's getting up to these playoff minutes. He's ready to play. He had a long regular season of not playing a ton of minutes. It's not like last year where they had to ride him a lot. It's not like the year before where they had to ride him a lot. I like where he is heading into this season. They managed him very, very, very well this season. So I don't mind the every other day. It's kind of like a regular cadence. You play, you rest, you play, you rest. You're not traveling. It's not like the regular season every other day where it's maybe you get a couple of days at home playing every other day. Then you're going to get on a plane and go. There's only hopefully 1 or 2 instances of getting on the plane and going to the other city. But even so, it's much more controlled. It's much less of a strain on the body. So I don't mind that it's going to be an every other day thing. The hope here is that the Celtics can hopefully make short work of Cleveland or Orlando. That's a 7-game series. Those teams are beating the snot out of one another. And then whatever game 7 is, they're going to turn around, come to Boston, and face a very fresh Celtics team in Boston. That's going to be very tough. Both of those teams have struggled on the road in these playoffs. So that's a good sign. I expect those teams to come in here. Game 1 might be very heavily in Boston's favor. We'll see how it goes, and I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want to, get over my skis on this podcast. This is a Porzingis reaction podcast. We'll react to who it is tomorrow after the game. But regardless, I like how Al Horford is set up for this series. So I like where Porzingis is, considering, obviously, I would have rather him be on the floor, but I like where he is. If you suffer the injury like this, I'm always concerned. I say it a million times, the calf injury, it does not seem to be any sort of Achilles related thing. It's just a calf strain. So make sure that the calf is still, healthy, good, and take 2 weeks off. You're already getting a week off in between series. So now you get another week off that covers this series. And maybe you can even get a third week depending on how the next thing goes. So he could miss 1 series in this, which is best case scenario, I think, for a calf injury. I like where he is mentally. He seems fine. I like the fact that he hopes to be traveling with the team. That's a good sign. Guys who are really hurt don't travel with the team. It's a matter of being home for your rehab, making sure that you're with the team, with the trainers in your home setting. If you can travel and rehab on the road, that's great. There's no concern about going up and down in a plane. Pressurized cabin increases swelling. So if there's any sort of lingering injury, you don't want them to be up in the pressurized cabin of a plane, even if it's a luxurious chartered plane. It doesn't matter. You don't want to put the body through that. So if he can travel, that means you're not worried about the inflammation. The inflammation has subsided. So that's a good sign. That's why it's a good sign. So look, you'd rather him be part of the team and playing, but when you're dealing with this injury, all things considered, this was a nice update. I think this is a positive update. And we'll see what the update is on Monday. I will be here. I will be there on Monday. I will be back here Monday after that to give you the update. Hopefully we'll have a crossover podcast with either the Locked On Cavs or the Locked On Magic hosts, both really good dudes. So this is not like a Miami Heat thing. There's no like underlying kind of animosity there. So that'll be a fun show. So that's the plan for this week. No practice on Sunday. I will be here. I'll try to get Tom Westerholm here to give us our preview of Celtics and either Cavs or Magic. Then I will get the host of the other show to get you a full preview. And then we're on to the next round of the playoffs. That's going to be a lot of fun. So stick with me. Hang out with me. Listen to the show on a daily basis. Make it your first listen every day. Become an everydayer. Join me on this ride. I'd love to see you on the YouTube page. Get into the comment section. Let me know what you think. How do you feel about Kristaps Porzingis? How do you feel about this update? Are you more encouraged, less encouraged? Tell me how you take it. This is why I wanted to play the entire thing for you, so you can get his inflection. You can listen to when he's trying to find the right things to say, when he's trying not to give specifics away, all that stuff. So I want you to listen to that. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you think there. And I would love it if you shared the podcast, spread the word, tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.